in. Do I need to move the mics over?
Yes, please.
I don't know how much more I can add, and Lee's pretty much covered it. Want to pay a special thanks to the Indiana State Police detectives. From when this call first came into our department, being a small department, our full-time detective still off on medical leave from a crash last month. Within hours, an hour after the call to the Indiana State Police detectives, I had 2 detectives, a crime scene technician at the scene of the burglary, and then by mid-morning we had at least 6 detectives and U.S. Marshals here, all working on the case along with one of my other junior detectives. In the case, he's more specialized in other areas than criminal investigations, but they worked long, hard hours. I know I was here off and on throughout the night with them, just making sure they got things that they needed and whatever, but I really appreciate the Indiana State Police for their efforts. I think Lee's covered that.
Just a couple of quick ones from myself, a little bit of reiteration from Prosecutor Lee Rehberger. You know, I think I've read some of the articles and I've watched some of the newscasts, and you portrayed us to where, when I told you, explained to you that our detectives worked 35 straight hours the first set, took a short break and worked 22 straight more hours. We just want to make sure, and I want to thank you for allowing your readers and viewers to know that when you invade someone's home, we live in America, and that's our safety, that's our place that we go for refuge, and we want to feel safe on our own home and not have to worry about criminals. All of us sitting here worry about criminals every day, and we're just very thankful that we were on top of this case. Our detectives, I mean, we can't talk about them enough. 35 straight hours, they have families as well. 35 straight hours one day, 22nd the next. We just want you to know and convey that when you invade someone's home, all crimes are crimes, of course, but when you invade someone's home, hold them at gunpoint, that comes right to the top of our burner. We will work around the clock. Our guys will work around the clock. In this particular case, we worked around the clock with the Sheriff's Department, the Prosecutor's Office, the State Police, and all of us working together put some significant, troublesome people behind bars. So we hope that the public's thankful for that. That's our job. That's why we get up in the morning and put our uniforms on and our suits to go to work, is to protect the people out there. And we're just really thankful that the guys arrested them this quick, worked this hard on the case, and I just wanted to thank you for what you've done for us on that part, allowing the people to know that we really do take these kinds of things serious, and we really do work as hard as we can in our job. The last thing, if anyone has any information, you know, we're still looking for some minor information on this case. If anyone that lives in the area of 8100 block of North 500 West on the morning hours of January 14th, or either a day or two before or after, please give us a call. But again, if you guys could put that however you deem necessary in your articles. We're still looking for some information. Vehicles in the scene, you know, at the scene. Did anyone see this vehicle driving around the area? Anyone look suspicious around the area before they were arrested? Such things like that. So if you do have any information on this case, or even the Vigo County case, if it's the Vigo County case, you know, of course, the Vigo County Sheriff's Department and the detective is Sean Fellows on that case. If it has to do with the Clay County case, you know, the Indiana State Police at 299-1153, or the Clay County Sheriff's Department 446-2535. But again, thank you. If you have any questions, I would just ask that you would announce the person that you would like to answer that question. Tom.
Lee, there were 2 other people arrested in connection with this crime, as I understand. Receiving property, and a lady was also.
Individual Lindsay Beeman was initially detained on an obstruction of justice and or false reporting allegation. She bonded out of the Clay County Jail and has now been charged with an A misdemeanor charge of false reporting. The allegation is that she provided information to law enforcement that hindered their investigation. She bonded out, and under our routine, when she's bonded out, she's given a rotation date to appear. So her initial hearing before the court is a couple of weeks on down the road. In the initial part of the investigation, we were led to believe that Mr. Kraft's involvement may have been limited to only possession or receiving that stolen property. He was initially detained in that manner for that allegation. However, the investigation continued and led us to believe that Mr. Kraft may have been more extensively involved in all of the events that evening, and Mr. Kraft then subsequently was charged with the same 6 counts as both of the Ormans. So as far as the investigation is concerned, the investigation led to charges against 4 separate individuals.
Do you anticipate any more arrests?
The investigation is ongoing. At this point, those are the only individuals that we currently have any request for an arrest affidavit, anything like that. But the investigation remains open. As we gain more information, new charges, new individuals may come up. Too early to say.
I'm sorry, one quick question. Was there a connection between the victims in the crime and those who are charged with the crime? And the reason I ask that, was this a random case, or was there a connection between the perpetrators and the victims?
At this point, as far as the investigation is concerned, all we can disclose is the identity and the charging information of those victims and the address. Any relationship they may or may not have had to the defendant, we can't say at this point, because that's an issue of evidence, and that is also part of our ongoing investigation, so we just can't answer that question at this time.
Brian?
That was my question as far as this is concerned.
Well, yes, and I saw that you added these 3 new charges for the Ormans, and you said Christopher Kraft. How important was that for you to add? I mean, they're going to face 6 felonies now. Kind of talk about those new charges, I guess.
Well, when you decide to go into someone's home and create victims in this aggravated a manner, we are going to pursue the highest level of charge that we feel we can prove. And in that case, in this situation, we believe the state has the evidence necessary to proceed in this manner. And that's one interesting thing about the way an investigation plays out. Mr. Kraft being the perfect example. During the early stages, we believe Mr. Kraft had a limited involvement, and that may have been just at the level of a D felony, receiving or possession of stolen property. The investigation continued, and as that investigation unfolded, we realized that it might be more appropriate and that we had evidence to justify charging these additional counts. And that's exactly what happened. The investigation led us to believe that these individuals were not only involved in going into the home, creating these victims, brandishing a weapon, doing some bodily injury to the one individual, but we also believe the investigation is leading us to see that this may have been a conspiracy kind of situation, where one or more individuals may have planned to take any or all of these actions ahead of time. That's why we added the conspiracy allegation. The aggravated battery, that came up simply because we're accusing these individuals of having bodily contact that led to some very serious injuries, head injury, that required medical attention. And then the theft and residential entry are part of lesser includeds.